the story of the weekend to me was Khalil Mack getting traded to the Bears, because you never see a top 5 pass rushing talent available in the NFL. You just don't. You don't see a top 5 pass rushing talent that many people think is the best player on the team getting traded away. You don't see 2 first-round picks getting sent for any human being in the NFL, and you certainly don't see it a week before the season. And it is something we may not see for years to come. Khalil Mack being traded by the Raiders to the Bears. And by the way, congrats to the Bears. Congrats to you, Chicago Bears fans, because you have yourself a bona fide game changer, game wrecker in Khalil Mack, and worth everything you gave up for him. I know you're not drafting in the first round for 2 more years. Smoke him if you got him. But this is a guy in Ryan Pace, your general manager, who believes in the roster that he has built, who believes that he's got his young quarterback and his young coach hooked up to his young quarterback. And even if you don't draft in the first round, next couple of years, Khalil Mack is going to be hunting Aaron Rodgers, hunting Kirk Cousins, and hunting Matthew Stafford twice a year, every year. That's what you want. That is why you're seeing offensive linemen in the AFC West like Mitchell Schwartz tweeting out memes of celebration that Khalil Mack's gone. This is a guy that has defensive coordinators up at night all week game planning. And I don't care that the Raiders didn't perform well with him, so how are they going to perform without him? And you got all these draft picks that it doesn't really matter. I don't buy that. I don't. That's spin. I tweeted out over the weekend when it was rumored that this trade was about to happen that the only teams that trade away their high-priced talent or don't pay their high-priced talent for future considerations and draft picks, the only teams that do that are rebuilding teams. And that if the Raiders were going to do this, this is all you need to know how John Gruden has evaluated this roster coming out of the booth. Put this trade together with the fact that he has amassed and compiled with Reggie McKenzie the oldest group to start a week 1 in a National Football League season in over a decade. 27. They're north of 27 years old on average. That's an obscenely high number. Put that together, the trade, with that, and the fact that Gruden comes out and says that $90 million for a player like Mack is an astronomical number, certainly since they're already paying their quarterback. And he himself is getting paid $100 million guaranteed dollars to coach and shop for the groceries. Put that all together, and what you have is just an unintelligible mess of spin and game plan. Because if you are seeing your roster and remaking it into an older group, then you definitely have to keep Khalil Mack. This is what you got. You got a young quarterback, and you got Cooper, and you got a running back like Marshawn Lynch, and you got your line that you've basically also told one of your best players that he's got to take a pay cut in Donald Penn. And you then, instead of keeping your best player to win now with an older roster, you trade him away for future considerations. And look at everybody else in the locker room who is put together on a veteran-laden team that knows that their window of opportunity is closing now. And you're telling them, we're not trying to win now. You're also telling future free agents, come here. Or guess what? We'll draft you. Come here, though, if you're a future free agent, and ball out, become great at your position. Ball out, become great at your position, be a good citizen in the locker room, great teammate in the locker room, and a quality citizen in the community. And when it comes time to pay you, we'll trade you. We'll let somebody else pay you your value. What? How's that getting sold in that locker room today? On the outset of the season, where your first opponent is a team who just did the exact opposite with a guy who wrecks and controls the game from the middle of the defensive line. The Raiders' first game is against Aaron Donald and the Rams took care of him. And they're sending their coach into that locker room, Sean McVay, saying, hey, guess what, guys? It was tough, but we got it done. Let's go win football games. I just gave you the entire preseason off. Let's go up to Oakland and win on Monday Night Football on ESPN, and let's go kick some ass with everybody that we have in the locker room now that's paid and happy pretty much. And yes, the Bears do have a quarterback that they haven't had to pay yet, and the Rams do have a quarterback that they haven't had to pay yet. I'll ask Peter King at the top of the next hour if that is a fact, that the Raiders could not figure out a way to pay Mack what the Bears paid him, and they've already given Carr his franchise quarterback money, and you're not able to put a roster together doing both of those things. I find that hard to believe. The Raiders, I mean, again, best pass rusher in the game is Von Miller. I think you can make an argument that Khalil Mack is right there. All right? And you have this guy holding out, understand, but you're not talking to him. And instead of figuring out a way to get this done and him into the locker room, you trade him away and let somebody else pay him. And you tell the veteran-laden locker room, let's go still win some football games. First up is against a team that paid their guy. And the number that we couldn't pay him, guaranteed, is $10 million less than the coach. His contract over 10 years. I mean, that is a very tough, very, very tough line of thinking to sell to your locker room a week before the season. I'm sorry, Raiders fans. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But you do get two first-rounders back, and you better find yourself. There's no guarantee you're going to find a pass rusher as good as Khalil Mack. There's no guarantee you're going to find a game-wrecking talent like that. And guess what? I know part of this was also, let's send him to the Bears where he's out of conference. Let's send him to the Bears where that's a great chance to get a nice top 5, top 10 draft choice. Who says? That's a rough one.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.